Well, I'm out here again, picking up some cans and things off the side of the Rodler area. Here, some foil. I'm going to take a load of scrap metal in, either today or tomorrow, and so I'm trying to get as much as I can. Trying to fatten up the load as much as I can. I am. Oh. Anyway, again, I'm noticing in our media here in Canada, all this business again that Trump has destroyed Canada. With his tariffs and so on. Now, the tariffs certainly aren't going to help us. I know that. I'm not pretending that they are. And people who say that Trump doesn't give a shit about us are right. No, he really doesn't. But here's the thing. He's the president of the United States. This is Canada. This right here where I am right now, this is Canada. This is not the United States. He's not the president of Canada. Now, some people will say, well, he will be if he takes it over like he's threatened to and all that. But here's the thing. It's not really his job to care about us. It's his job to care about the people of the United States and to look out for their best interest. And that's what I believe, at least, he's trying to do. Now, like I say, until I see evidence to the contrary, that's what I'll believe. But here's the thing. Trump, you know, he's getting the blame right now, eh? See, our Liberal Party was in the popularity of our Liberal Party here was in the toilet. Trust in our government was at an all-time low right across the board with all parties. And the reasons for that are very justifiable. The people of Canada have had good reason to be disillusioned with our government, to be mad at it, to feel like it's let us down, and even to feel like it's betrayed us. Because the fact of the matter is, it has done all those things. So here's the thing. Here's the thing, though, about it. Canada has had a long succession of globalist governments, as has the United States. And what's happened is, in the minds of many people, both Canadians and Americans, globalism has become normal. And so when you see protectionist trade practices, it's easy to think that they are predatory trade practices. That's not really the case. I mean, look, if somebody comes up to me right now and they pull a knife on me and they say, give me all your cans or I'll stab you in the gut or whatever, and I turn around and I give them a good roundhouse kick to the balls, and I double them over and I get away from them. Have I preyed on them, or were they trying to prey on me and I protected myself? You see, I think most sensible people would say that I protected myself. Now in Canada, there's laws that forbid me from doing that. What I'm supposed to do in Canada, if that happened, is I'm supposed to give the guy all my cans, and even to help him load them up into his truck if he needs help. And then I'm to thank him for taking my cans from me, and I'm to offer him my stomach in case he wants to put the knife into it, just for practice, you know, in case he runs into somebody who doesn't cooperate, and so on. You know, Canadians buy this shit. Canadians think that that's how it should be. But no. No, there's nothing wrong with protectionism. There's nothing wrong with looking out for your own interest. It's always been a fact of negotiation. And see, this is the thing about Trump. He's a negotiator. He's a New York City real estate developer. So he's used to dealing with these situations. He's used to negotiating. And he knows you have to come at it from a place of strength. You don't want to be the guy in the negotiation who's coming at it from a place of weakness. Oh, the wind is really strong today, and there's a crap ton of traffic. It's just wild out here. Anyway, you don't want to be coming at it from a place of weakness in a negotiation. See, he understands all that, and he understands that, well, there you go. There's somebody's piece off somebody's car. There we go. All right. We'll go over here and look. Anyway, he understands that you have to be coming from a place of strength, or you're going to lose. And losing is not the goal. See, that's not predatory. That's just being a smart negotiator. Globalism, by its very nature, is self-defeating. It has a lot of elements of communism to it, and it has a lot of elements of fascism to it. Both are systems that are self-defeating. That's why they collapse continuously. Now, it can be argued that capitalism and the free market economy has lots of ups and downs, and that people do get forgotten, people do get left behind. It can be quite a merciless system in certain respects, but at the present time, it's the only system that's managed to endure for any length of time, and it's the only system that's managed to not... Okay, I don't know. It's the only system that's managed not to collapse under its own weight completely. We have had issues. Obviously, the Great Depression of the 1930s was an issue. Obviously, all the different recessions we've had have been issues. But we pulled out of all that, you know. It got real bad for a while, and then it got better. Each of those times. When communism collapsed, guess what happened? Fucking collapsed. You know, it didn't come back. It collapsed. You know, and you know, it's coming now in different ways. I guess they're trying to reintroduce it, which is dumb. They're trying to revive something that should be left dead. But again, see, because globalism has these elements to it, in order for them to try globalism, they have to revive communism. Fascism is the same way. Fascism has its day of brutalizing people, and then it collapses because the people rebel, or because other countries, other societies see what's going on and they step in and put a stop to it, like what happened during World War II. But I'll tell you, when they collapse those systems, like they completely collapse. And the reason for that is they have no substance to them. There's nothing holding them up. They're standing up on the weak legs of their own understanding, which is nothing. And that's the reason they collapse. And that's why they collapse completely. Capitalism, on the other hand, and Republican democracy Like I say, they got their ups and downs for sure, and they got their problems for sure, but they endure. You know, even when they're down, they're not completely out. And they do come back. But anyway, Trump is a capitalist. And he's had to watch his country, the United States, be taken over by the globalists, by the communist, fascist, globalist types. You know, because what they've done is the globalists have combined communism and fascism. They've taken all the worst of both of those systems and combined them, and they call it globalism. It'd be like if I took a big shit in a bucket, and then I puked in there, and I mixed it all up, and I baked it at 350 degrees, and I called it a cake. You know, that's what they've done. I mean, it's horrible. Anyway, the bottom line is, across the road now, the bottom line is this. What's happened with Canada is actually the same thing that happened to the United States for a long time. We've had successive globalist governments, and they've run us into the ground, and they've done so on purpose, because they have to collapse the strong capitalist democratic system, because they can't compete with it, so it has to go. And so that's what they've done. They've done it on purpose. They've run us into the ground. And now, of course, our Liberal Party, which was a huge part of that, it became really hated. It looked like they were going to lose this next election. That's assuming that our votes are even counted. I'm really doubtful about that myself. But if we assume they are, then they were going to lose the next election. And the thing is, what did they do? Trump come along and started putting tariffs on us, which, like I say, we've been tariffing the United States heavily for years, but we don't talk about that, of course. We only talk about whatever injuries are done to us. You know, we're like a bitter divorced woman, this country. You know, we love to talk about what a prick our ex-husband was, but we don't like to talk about what a bitch we were. You know, that's pretty much, we just want to be the victim all the time. That's pretty much what Canada is. And the thing of it is, the collapse of Canada, it's an inside job. That's what it is. We did this to ourselves. It's our politicians that have worked against us to do this. So, you know, our government, like I say, the United States has had the same issue. Up until recently, they had the same issue. And now, assuming Trump is sincere, and I really hope he is, like I say, I haven't seen anything yet that would tell me he isn't. If I do, I'm open to seeing it if it exists. It's just that I haven't seen it yet, so I'm going to go with giving him the benefit of the doubt for the time being. But assuming he is sincere, he's got quite a job ahead of him. He's got to undo literally decades of self-sabotage that has occurred within the United States because of its successive globalist governments, going back at least to George Bush Sr., which is like 1989, 1990. So we're going back now 35 years. You know, we're going back 35 years now. For 35 years at least. And I think longer than that, really. The United States government has been sabotaging the United States. That's a tall order. He's got to fix that in 4 years. God bless him if he can do it. God bless him if he sincerely tries to do it. You know? But what are we doing here? We're blaming him because he put some tariffs on us and because he talked about making us the 51st state. You know, a big part of what he's doing there is he's trying to come to the negotiation from a place of strength. And these tariffs, we say we're going to put reciprocal tariffs on him. Well, okay, we could do that. But here's the thing. The tariffs he's putting on us are already reciprocal. So it's not that he's putting tariffs on us and we're putting reciprocal tariffs on him. It's that he's putting reciprocal tariffs on us because we've been tariffing the hell out of them for a long time. And then we're putting reciprocal tariffs on the reciprocal tariffs is what's happening. And then he's turning around and he's doubling it. He's like a guy at a slot machine or a card table or something at a casino. He's doubling down. He's putting all his chips into it. Then he's saying, all right, double or nothing, guys. And this is all negotiation. This is called hardball negotiation. The man spent decades negotiating with mobsters, in the trade unions and in the waste management business and in the building trades and everything else. And I mean, in New York City, all this stuff is heavily infiltrated by the mafia. And he had to negotiate with those guys, and he was highly respected by them, by the way, because he was a good negotiator and he came from a place of strength. And say what you like about criminals, but criminals respect a man who can come from a place of strength. They understand that, So when Trump came at them from a place of strength, they understood it and they respected it. They didn't always like it. I'm sure there were times they said, that son of a bitch, what's he doing to us? But on some level, they respected him for it. They knew he wasn't a man to fool around with. And the thing is, what's happening now is he's coming at us from a place of strength, which is exactly what he should be doing. Now, he's not God. He's fallible. He can make mistakes, and he has made mistakes. He's made mistakes in his personal life. We know about that. I'm sure he'll make some mistakes in government, too. He got hoodwinked last time with the whole COVID-19 narrative, with his Operation Warp Speed and all that. They completely hoodwinked him there. So it's not as if he can't be fooled. But again, he at least, it appears at least, is coming at things in a sincere way, wanting what's best for the people of the United States, instead of what's best for the globalist agenda. And he's got the globalist crap in their pants right now, and that includes the globalists who are running our government. Because make no mistake, the Canadian government is a globalist government. See, he's coming at us just the same way he come at a mafia character back in the 1970s or 80s when he was trying to put up a skyscraper in New York City. He's coming at us the same way. And that's exactly what he should be doing. And what we need is somebody who is sincere like he is, but who has our best interest at heart and not the globalist agenda. And who is also a negotiator who actually understands, well, as Trump would say, the art of the deal. Somebody who understands it. And somebody who can negotiate with him on his level. The guys we got right now aren't going to do it. But that's not his fault. It's not his fault that we're coming at it from a place of weakness. If you allow yourself to become a weakling, if you allow yourself to become mentally and physically weak, and then you have to get into a negotiating situation, or you're getting into a conflict or whatever, if you're not prepared and able to do what needs to be done to benefit yourself for your own best interest, you're going to lose every time. We need a leader here who understands that and will go to bat for us and protect us against, not against predatory stuff, because it isn't predatory, it's negotiation, but will protect us against screwing ourselves, basically. Will protect us against putting ourselves in a position where we get the shitty end of the stick. And until we do that, we'll get the shitty end of the stick, and it'll be nobody's fault but our own. Anyway, that's it. It's not Trump's fault. It's an inside job. We've done this to ourselves. The United States has had successive governments that have done the same thing. Now he's down there trying to deal with all that mess. But it's not his job to deal with our mess too. And if he can exploit our mess, he will do it. Make no mistake, he will, because if we're dumb enough to be in a position where we're going to allow ourselves to be exploited, then we deserve what we get. And that doesn't mean we got to stand up to Trump like he's a bully or whatever. It just means we got to negotiate with him in a proper way. And we got to get ourselves into a position of strength to do that. And we're not going to do that by whining and going on about how hard done we are, and so on. That's not going to do it. Like I say, we're not an ex-wife, and this is not a court that's run by the feminists. Where the ex-wife can be that way and win everything. That just isn't going to happen here. We need to suck it up and realize that. Stop blaming Trump for everything. Put the blame where it belongs. Our own government has let us down in a multitude of ways. Our own globalist government that would sooner serve Klaus Schwab and Bill Gates than to serve the people, the actual people of Canada, the people who live here and who work here and who do all the things here. The people who actually keep this country afloat. Only just barely at this point, because our government keeps throwing us anchors when it should be throwing us life preservers. But and what it will call a life preserver, they'll get every so often they'll send us a check or something for a few $100s to compensate us a little bit for all the money they've stolen from the people. And that's not a life preserver. That's just a lighter anchor. That's all it is. Because that's your money. It's your tax money they're sending you. Like I say, we need people in place who are good negotiators and who are sincere and who have Canada's best interest at heart. Right now, we don't have that. Anyway, talk later.